Hi everybody, this is 𝐬𝐻𝐫𝐿. I have autism spectrum disorder, and surprise, I'm the royalty published author of this book. Well, a lot of people already knew that. The surprise is that, long story short, I had to be republished. And it did come with better benefits. It's published by Republished Press now. It's now available on Kindle as well. This book, Juggling the Issues, Living with Asperger Syndrome, is an anthology composed of 29 short stories, over 200 pages articulating what it's really like from a first-hand perspective living with this incurable autism spectrum disorder. I was diagnosed with Asperger syndrome back when it was a diagnosis under DSM-4, and I articulate that in the preface, but this book is not from a second-hand perspective. This isn't written by a doctor or a psychologist, not that those should be devalued, but this is written by a person who actually experiences the hardships of living with Asperger syndrome. I tell a lot of my stories as real-life examples, just to use this as examples. I don't believe that this book alone is going to end all bullying and discrimination. I believe when everybody comes together, all authors, all YouTubers, when we all come together sharing our first-hand perspective, that's what's going to help get this world toward peace. I'm not just against autistic discrimination, but all forms of discrimination. Whether it be autism spectrum disorder, Down syndrome, muscular dystrophy, I'm against all forms of discrimination and bullying. I have personally had roughly 20 years of facing discrimination from my days as a kindergartner to the present day nonstop, whether I go out to the community, to school, it doesn't matter. I'm usually discriminated from people of all ages, including adults. I've been laughed at, mocked at, stared at, ran away from. I've been told by a couple of people around the world don't have children. I've been called weirdo and worse. Earlier this year, I overheard a father tell his young child to not have anything to do with me, basically, like don't communicate with me or anything like that. Back in kindergarten, there were a couple of classmates that yelled at me saying, "Go away, Matthew, you're not our friend." In 3rd or 4th grade, there's a person that chucked a handball at my face for me being who I am. And back in high school, when I'd walk to school, the elementary school was behind me, and I would see parents and elementary school children walking toward me, and we were going to pass each other. And I looked ahead, and when they saw me, they drew their child closer to them. And I was like, well, I'm in high school, and I look like a high schooler, and I was going in the direction of my high school with a backpack on my back. In fact, the past 7 years, I've been devoting my time from my heart, and I love it, to the Royal Rangers ministry. And I've been a commander helping countless boys, young men from K through 12, achieve their goals and earn merits, get medals, build their confidence and all that. A lot of people just appreciate me for who I am. And you know, I go out into the neighborhood and a lot of people just discriminate me, probably think, so this guy doesn't belong. And that helped push me to write this book, because the discrimination has got to stop for everybody. Because if I'm being treated like this and people begging me not to have children because nobody cares about autistics, and I'm like, if I'm treated like this, then there's tons of people who are treated the way they are because they have autism, they have Down syndrome, they have whatever, and people just need to have acceptance. So I'm not just for spreading awareness, I'm for spreading acceptance. Because what I tell children all the time, because I'm not just a Royal Rangers commander, but I volunteer my time for the past 10 years since I was in high school, juggling for elementary schools and encouraging the kids, the children there every year, that if I could do all these things, you can too, and more. You can too. Just never give up on your dream, on your calling, on your passions, because everybody has a purpose. This is part of my purpose. And I've never allowed autism to have the prerogative to tear me down, to slow me down. I earned a degree in chemistry. I juggle for elementary school students. I'm a Royal Ranger commander. I earned the Gold Medal of Achievement through Royal Rangers, which is equivalent to the 𝐃𝐨𝐽 Award. I volunteered my time for a couple of years playing piano for seniors on Sunday mornings, as well as volunteering for the AV Tech Media 4 years before that. And the bottom line is I love what I do. I love giving back. In fact, I talk about, like, it's hard for me to sit still. I have to be helping somebody. I have to be doing something like behind the scenes or whatever. Like, it's hard to sit still, and you know, that's my heart. And another part of my heart is, you know, getting this book in many hands across the world. And guess what? It already has. My book is being followed by people in every continent except Antarctica, unless the penguins know how to read. But other than that, it's being followed elsewhere. It's gotten many 5-star reviews on Amazon US, Amazon India, also Goodreads and Barnes & Noble. And I am very blessed of what it's been doing, and it also got 2 awards from Book Authority. I'm apparently number 9 of 16 Best New Autism Books to Read in 2020, and I'm also ranked number 43 of 74 Best New Autism Books of all time. So I'm very grateful for that. I've been in communications with a news director in Idaho for 𝐾MVT, and we were talking about sending in a video for their anti-bullying story or campaign that they were doing up in Idaho. So I'm still waiting to hear back from them. I went back to my schools because I mentioned pretty much all my schools in here: Newport Heights, Ensign Intermediate, Newport Harbor, Paularino, College Park, and I went back to most of those schools that I mentioned to announce that I'm an author now, and I'm very appreciative of what you did when I was a student here, because I mean, without Newport Mesa Unified School District, in which I also mentioned the district many times in here too, I probably wouldn't be where I am today, because through NMUSD I took speech therapy, I took RSP, and I really owe a lot of credit to NMUSD because I wouldn't be here today. And I'm sure I've probably written scores of stories of growing up in NMUSD schools. And currently there's a signed autograph at Newport Heights Elementary School's library, so I'm very honored that they had me sign a book for them, and that makes me feel good. It makes me feel good knowing that I'm helping others and being an encouragement. And I'm also excited in the future of going to all NMUSD schools to speak to every student over there, juggling for them, because I have a juggling analogy about not giving up, and I also have a science demo analogy about not holding things in and everything, as well as just, you know, entertainment. Everybody just loves it when I come and juggle, and I love it when I see smile on children's faces, and you know, that's my passion, and I would do that for the rest of my life, to do whatever I can to make people, especially children, you know, feel that they have a purpose and they have a calling, and it really excites me when I see them with joy and smile on their faces. I'm also going to go to the Capistrano School District schools as well. I've been talking to a person who's going to help me do so, because she's one of the coordinators of that, and she asked me, like, how much do you charge? And I'm like, believe me, I'd be happy to do all of this literally at my expense. I'd be happy to do this at no charge whatsoever, because what I'm for is spreading autism awareness, autism acceptance, and also for every child in the world to know that they have a purpose and a calling. And frankly, a lot of adults in the world also know that they also have a purpose and a calling too, because I believe that with my heart, because again, I've been mistreated by adults as well. I see potential in everybody, and you know, for my career choice, I'm choosing to be a middle school math and science teacher, probably at Ensign Intermediate School or wherever I'm called or led to go, because that's another passion of mine, and to, you know, make sure that they succeed and everything. That's my passion, and to teach in such a way where they understand the material, and also that they have a good outlook of life, that they accept one another. Even if people seem different, it's really what's on the heart that counts. And this is my heart to invite you, if you want to check out this book, but I'm not forcing you to. I invite you to check out other people's books and other people's YouTube videos and Facebook pages as well, such as Look Me in the Eye and Maybe Autism is My Superpower, and the pages The Aspie World and special books by special kids. And if you don't know a lot about autism or Asperger syndrome already, please educate yourself and realize that we are no different than anybody else, and we basically deserve a life like any normal person. And you know, my birthday was a few days ago, and all I wanted for my birthday was just to make a difference, just to be a difference. I don't want anything else. I don't want money, I don't want cars or houses or anything whatsoever. I just want to make a difference. So I've been really endeavoring and communicating to a lot of organizations, not just 𝐾MVT in Idaho, in which we were setting up an anti-bullying campaign that hasn't happened yet, but I just want to go out and just share, and all I want to do is share. And I'm not, you know, telling everybody that this is, you know, the end-all book. I mean, the book that's going to end everything, all discrimination and all hatred and such, but that this is just one of them, and when we all come together and work together, this world will be a better place and everybody will feel belonging and acceptance. And it's going to take all of us, and that's why in this YouTube video I'm not just mentioning my book, but other books as well. And just, I want everybody on earth to, realize that we could do whatever we set our minds to do. We're not different than anybody else, and we should all just respect one another. And that's my fight, and that's what I want. As well as, teaching, of course, and mentoring through Royal Rangers. I mean, that's also part of me, and through doing that, I'm also doing my part in educating, autism awareness, acceptance, and being nice and being kind to one another. And that's also why I'm very blessed by NMUSD, because their campaign is #kindness1billion and such. And so I just want to give back with all of my heart. I want to give a shout out to Michelle Tuzzi of ABC7 Eyewitness News Los Angeles. She shared my post on Facebook right after my first book came out on her page, and she told me that if I feel that this is a good news story, which I believe it is, then I should mail in a copy, and I did that several months ago. I'm just waiting to hear back. And I've also talked to people like Juan Fernandez and George Pinocchio on Facebook, and they were kind enough to congratulate me and help me with the next step. One of them said contact Denise's daughter, because she would be excellent for something like this as it pertains to health and awareness and all that. So I contacted her, and I'm still waiting to hear back. But I'm also thankful for the 𝐿𝐴 morning show on April 2nd this year, where I spoke for 2 minutes and just talked about this, and I'm very thankful for that. It was on iHeartRadio and Coast 103.5. So if you're a person who would know how to get this on the news, talk shows, podcasts, radio, newspapers, whatsoever, to help in the fight to spread autism awareness and acceptance, and so everybody can know that you can do what you set your mind to do. And even if you don't think about it, if you don't feel it, you do have a calling, you do have a purpose and a reason to live. And that's what I'm fighting for. And so I'd be very appreciative if you could help me with this endeavor. I don't care about money or any materials or anything like that. I just want to make a difference. And that's why I've written this book, and am glad to see that it is going all around the world. And of course, not just this book, but other books as well, other YouTubers, other Facebook pages like the ones I mentioned before. I do have a lot of things on this channel, including autism awareness videos, but I never put pressure on anybody to follow, to subscribe, or anything like that. So it's just, what you want to do, but all I want you to get out of this video, bottom line, is that we're autistic, and we're really no different than any other person. So please help me in spreading not just awareness, but acceptance as well. Or you could help me communicate to these news organizations so I could share and spread awareness and acceptance. I'd be very much appreciative. So I'm Matthew 𝐃𝐨𝐧'𝐭. I'm the royalty published author of this award-winning book, Juggling the Issues Living with Asperger Syndrome. Have an excellent day.